on the line, so any position they can reach will be worth the points. As we go through some of the moments of the game, game one very much in favor of Kieran, despite the first knockout going Daichi's way.
First knockout going Daichi's way here, but after this Absol goes down, that was when we knew for game one that Kieran had everything for himself here. The double superior plus boss ended up the knockout on the Mega Kangaskhan going on to our game two.
And in game two, Daichi started with the Frillish and just continually item locked turn after turn. Kieran unable to draw into anything other than items and a few little cards here and there. And it just was too much for Kieran. He said, let's go to another game. I don't think I'm going to win this one.
No, not kind of thinking he's going to win that one with the continuous item locking. Kieran packing up, giving themselves the best option of going into a game free and getting the victory. And Daichi taking a game there with the Frillish, which we were expecting a lot more of, having such a poor start in this game free, just the Latias against the world.
A lot of passing in this game at the start for Daichi, at the end for Kieran. And it was this knockout on the Latias that started the prize card race from Kieran. Took two early on, and it was Daichi's top deck here that allowed him to get back into the game as a Mega Kangaskhan was able to draw into so much. Another knockout from Kieran put him one step closer.
Mega Kangaskhan into Nest Ball, into Lily's determination, getting the game going again for Daichi, and then the constant calculations of how many resources does Kieran have left. Is Kieran going to be able to take the knockout? And the answer ended up being no.
The answer key.
And going into this game, we've been seeing two vastly different games here. Cruel Arrow here in game two just take out Ralts. And it kept on going again and again. Lucas was never able to get two Ralts into play. Night Stretcher Ralts, Cruel Arrow again. And this Jellicent keep it on attacking. At least Lucas in this game got the Jellicent going. Nothing much happened in game one. Taking a few knockouts here and there, but it ended up being that the star of the show in this specific turn was going to be Charizard taking out that Jellicent.
And with the Dark type weakness, you don't even have to build up prize cards from your opponent. You always take the knockouts on all of your opponents. And Gabriel just feels on top of the world right now. He's playing in his home.
Lucario shine this round. Generally, if you had asked me before LAC that we were going to be impressed by Mega Gardevoir in those first few rounds, if we were going to be seeing Mega Lucario, like we knew Mega Absol and Mega Kangaskhan were going to show up. We knew Mega Mobile was the Mega in style for Golden Go because of the Gdansk win. But Mega Lucario, Mega Gardevoir, it's a pleasure to see those Megas also shining. Poor camera, poor Abomasnow, nowhere to be found, but it's nice to see a variety of Megas, and as more get released, I'm sure we'll be seeing a ton more come into play.
Yes, great job there by Simon, of course, piloting this perfectly. Great job as well to game designers for some great cards. But honestly, we're talking about Mega Lucario. This Solrock Lunatone combo is just also so oppressive. Just so much value in being able to draw cards and take early prize cards. Really put Vinny in the back foot there when he was having such a slow start.
Yeah, that Mega Lucario being very self-sufficient, right? 1 energy for 130 dash. I mean, it's not even double what Solrock does. It's more than enough to deal with all the non-EX basic Pokemon. It's more than enough to deal with
Big timing.
On turn
right?
0. Yes, 0. The match ended. Yeah, as we see the replay here, everything that transpired throughout the game. We see some friendly banter between these players, and then we see Pedro with the early aggression with the Clefairy. Not a Pokemon you'd expect to see being utilized, but Pedro started it, attached to it, found an opening, used it very effectively. That one prize card in the beginning made a huge difference towards the end.
Yes, just being able to take something this early, 1 prize card followed by 3 leaves you with, what, 2 prize cards remaining, which is exactly normally the position you want to find yourself in. Clefairy putting in work, despite really not something you use in this matchup. But, of course, this was the game-winning play. Yes, Brent Tonneson shifting gears, right? Was going for the whole lock play, but opted instead to go for the knockout with the Blood Moon Ursaluna. But Pedro found the right cards in the Drifloon, plus the Bravery Charm to get that big 300 damage knockout on the Blood Moon Ursaluna and taking game 1.
extremely well played. And then this very back and forth, the early aggression from the Claw of Darkness, and got responded immediately by that genome hacking. Pedro won into attacks, right? Just knock out 2 of your 3 prize Pokemon. They're powerful, but they're also big liabilities, Pancho.
Yes, the one downside, well, yeah, the biggest downside really of the Mega Evolution Pokemon just giving up 3 prize cards is a lot. And yeah, giving up 2 means that's the end of the game.
Very well done by Pedro. And I mean, Gardevoir, Jellicent, historic.
Have that lone Crustle win you the game. It was a shame that game 1 he overbenched and left too many liabilities in play and didn't find a single penny for the game. And it was that first 3 prizes for Jorge.
And was missing that penny on that Mega Kangaskhan that came back to bite him, right? Setting up that Mega Kangaskhan exactly to be knocked out by Carnelian. And then we see Torrential Pump getting around the Mysterious Rockin and then going down to 2 prizes. And then we just see, yeah, Jet Energy, Boss, getting around the clutch, knocking out the Latias, and we were soon on for game 2.
And it was the Crustle in game 2 that was the MVP. Jorge probably thinking, my goodness, how am I going to beat this deck if that Crustle becomes the lone Crustle? But in game 2, got down fairly far in the prize race, was able to take that first prize card. Later on, got the Mega Absol knockout, which then put Jorge on 2 prize cards remaining using that Moss Agate attack. And it was then a situation of the Crustle's going to wall you out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and we were looking at a situation here where we get into the spot of 1 Crustle, 1 Monkey Dory. That's the entirety of the board. And constantly, maybe Jorge could have drawn out more time by taking 2 hits on this Flareon instead of just a single one before going Moss Agate. I guess we'll never know, but yeah, took 1 hit with a Flareon, and then it kind of became the situation of, do we sob the Monkey Dory? How are we going to be able to draw out this? Went with the draw, went with the boss's orders and sob on the Monkey Dory at the very end, and yeah, ended up being a top deck off the penny to close this out.
And where Crustle is a true wall into the deck, trying to deny complete damage, there was a chance for Jorge to be a kind of pseudo wall of these Pokemon.
Everything that developed in this very exciting top 8 game. Game 1 was dictated by the item lock from Sebastian. You can see he won very quickly. Then heading into game 2, it was the item lock from Justin that completely put him too far ahead. Sebastian didn't even get to play down a Ralts, and that's usually bad news, Juancho, when you're playing a Gardevoir deck.
Yeah, you definitely need the little guys to turn into the Gardevoir. But yeah, still on the game 2 now. Just, again, Sebastian still trying his best to come back from it. I have to give him props for not giving up that game 2. Because there was so much time anyway in the top 8. But of course, that big retreat, attach, retreat, Turo play just to guarantee the game. Although a coin flip would have been very exciting.
A coin flip would have been very exciting indeed. But having the one-off copy of Professor Turo ended up working out for Justin. And then this game 3, this back and forth, that TM Devo. So it was, I think, a combination of many things. TM Devo was a great play because Justin took an off turn. He discarded the Dragapult instead of choosing to evolve. I want to say he got a little bit greedy. He wanted triple Dracloak for next turn. He could have had double Dracloak, and he wouldn't have been denied the attack, at least for that initial turn. But the game came down to the wire, that little bit of damage. These 3 damage counters that we see on the field, those were the saving grace at the very end.
Yeah, and I was talking about it too. I was like, we should move the damage and try and draw the Gardevoir. No, that was important, very important. That monkey just took the hit and stayed the entire game just to be the savior at the very end. And of course, just this big Mew play. What Gardevoir can do once it has unlocked, once it's been unlocked from item lock. Just taking a massive 3 prize turn there with your opponent's own attack. But of course, this is the true ending. The perfect Screamtail into the Latias, double Monkey Dory. Everything perfectly set up.
Yeah, I mean, there were 2 very crucial top decks there for Sebastian, right? The Mew EX off the top, so that he needed to leave himself with no hand. He was actually instead able to Iono his opponent.
Finest of margins that denied him that spot in the final. Pedro coming through with Gardevoir and showing exactly why it is one of the best decks in the format, if not the best deck.
And we're just looking at it, right? Like, these offsets from the early starts of the game taking away that Arven with the Claw of Darkness and putting Beidro such far away on the back foot, slowly crawling into the game. Screamtail takes the knockout, and it seems like Screamtail was the Pokemon of choice for the game. The MVP in this finals. Petron, Irritated Outburst, taking out the Gardevoir. Yoshiyuki, one prize away from taking this game one, and we were thinking it was so sure, but the Screamtail with the Braver Charm and the double Monkey Dory, dealing exactly 300 damage, and 2 knockouts gave 6 prizes.
That Mystery Garden ended up being the draw supporter needed to find all those resources. That was that turn where the Gardevoir was taken out and so many cards were seen, but in game 2, early pressure again from Yoshiyuki. It looked to be impossible to return from for Pedro. He took a turn, a pause to evolve to Curlier with that Technical Machine evolution, and the next turn said, I can take out both of your Megas across 2 turns. We went down the traditional route of Gardevoir, using Drifloon and Screamtail as those attackers. The intended partners for Gardevoir from the start. Drifloon taking such a huge knockout there on a 360 HP Mega Absol.
360 HP, a tiny balloon, doesn't care whenever there's Life League Stadium in play, nor does a Screamtail. That's going to be taking that last knockout of the game. Masterful play from hometown hero. I can't not stop saying it. A potential
in this series.
Again, just a lot of Charizard action. This is, in game 1, a lot more safe. Miss Energy on the Charizard, Miss Energy on the Pidgeot. Nothing was going to stop Gabriel Fernandez from winning that game, especially a slow start from Sebastian, allowing him to get a couple of extra prize cards early.
Yeah, and those missed energies protecting, closing the door on any possible avenue Sebastian might have had in order to close things out or make any sort of comeback. He tried, he definitely tried, he got close, right? But then we saw just the Mew get taken down, and Sebastian decided it was time for heading into the second game, where things were looking a lot better. He started the Frillish, he item locked Gabriel. Gabriel was forced to go into that Pheasantipity, who was probably cruel arrowed more in this tournament than any other Pheasantipity in the history of Pheasantipities. So, yeah, but that Iono that he played himself, essentially the next 6 cards were just not good, and Gabriel very correctly identified this, didn't play any Iono to help out Sebastian, eventually ended up playing that on first stamp. Clefairy even showed up to try and give Sebastian some help, and finally found the Lily, and then it got taken away by the on first stamp.
Yes, this Lily's Clefairy, again, the raw energy attachment there, but of course this was the game-ending turn. Boss's orders on the Mew and the Rare Candy Charizard. This was post the Devolution turn. The one ray of hope Sebastian had. Item lock, Devolution, but it was not enough. Nothing.